All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to explore how Aldous Huxley's 1932 dystopian classic Brave New World isn't just fiction anymore. It's actively manifesting right now. We'll be looking at the data, the underlying philosophies, and the very real tech trends that are basically turning a 90-year-old novel into a documentary of our daily lives.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want you to ask yourself a question. Does the society we live in right now rely on us being just a little too comfortable and way too distracted to actually care about being controlled? You know, we usually picture dystopias as these dark, violent regimes. But what if the ultimate way to control people is just giving them exactly what they want?
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Huxley's 1932 Warning, a blueprint for today. So let's lay the foundation here. It's really crucial to understand the difference between this and other famous dystopias. Think about George Orwell's 1984. That was all about fear, right? Oppression by force, constant surveillance, torture. Huxley's masterpiece took a totally different route. He warned us of a world where people are controlled through the seductive, irresistible allure of convenience and entertainment. In Huxley's vision, you don't even need a violent big brother, because the population is just too busy amusing themselves to ever think about rebelling.
Community, identity, stability. Sounds pretty great on the surface, doesn't it? But as we dig into the text, this motto of the world state reveals a society where absolute stability is achieved by completely wiping out genuine individuality. You only matter in relation to the community, never as your own unique person.
And this is a perfect illustration of philosopher Michel Foucault's concept of biopower. Basically, it's a system of discipline that manipulates your mind and body to make you perfectly productive and perfectly compliant. Foucault called this the creation of docile bodies. The world state pulls us off by just eradicating all the messy, unpredictable parts of being human. Things like love, religion, art, history. They turn every single citizen into a frictionless little cog in the machine of economic and social stability.
Which brings us to Section 2, Engineering the Human Foundation, Creating the Perfect Citizen.
Let's look at how the physical foundation of humanity is engineered literally from conception. In the novel, human reproduction is totally industrialized through something called Bokanovsky's process. It's essentially biological mass production. The world state clones human beings and sorts them into strict, predetermined castes based on intelligence, from the elite alphas at the top all the way down to the menial epsilons. It guarantees that every single person is biologically hardwired to perfectly execute whatever job the state needs them to do.
Now, here's where it gets wild when we hold a mirror up to today. We're looking at advancements like CRISPR gene editing and artificial wombs, and these are pushing us towards some incredibly similar ethical crossroads. We're using these tools to prevent hereditary diseases, sure, but our sources point out the massive questions this raises. We're talking designer babies, unintended gene edits, and the real possibility of a new era of profound biologically engineered social inequality.
Huxley mapped out this multi-step conditioning process designed to make people literally love their inescapable social destiny. It treats humanity exactly like a Ford assembly line, from the test tube to sleep teaching, which they call hypnopedia, straight through to adulthood. The state meticulously programs everyone. So if you're engineered to be a factory worker, the state conditions you from birth to despise nature and absolutely love factory conditions. Crazy, right?
Let's move to Section 3, the illusion of happiness, numbing the masses.
So you might be wondering, how does this intensely controlled society actually convince people that they're perfectly happy? Well, the answer is soma. The second a citizen feels even a tiny, microscopic hint of unease, sadness, or frustration, they just pop this drug. It's a state-sanctioned chemical mechanism that keeps everyone docile and totally disconnected from the painful realities of life. It literally replaces spiritual struggle with chemical bliss. It's the people's brand new religion.
Now compare that to our world today. Huxley's drug was handed out by the government, but our modern soma is corporate endorsed. We've got gamified mental health apps, algorithmic doom scrolling that just floods our brains with dopamine, and a massive societal reliance on pharmaceuticals to smooth out the rough edges of daily life. And honestly, they function in a strikingly similar way. They keep us consuming, they keep us mildly sedated, and they keep us completely disengaged from expressing any real dissent. A gram is better than a damn. This is an actual sleep-taught proverb from the novel, and it perfectly nails this societal push to prioritize a quick, easy chemical fix over any meaningful emotional struggle. I mean, why care? Why get angry? Why try to change the world when you can just take a pill or scroll through your feed and instantly feel better?
And the reality of our modern distraction is honestly shocking.
Did you know the average daily screen time has skyrocketed past 7 hours? 7 hours a day! We've basically taken Huxley's fictional immersive movies, he called them the feelies, and replaced them with non-stop, personalized algorithmic stimulation right in the palm of our hands.
All right, Section 4, Mind Control and Manipulation, the Invisible Architects. Let's see how all this builds into the invisible systems that manipulate the choices we make every single day. In the book, the world controllers used hypnopaedia, literally whispering consumerist slogans into kids' ears while they slept. Today, we have algorithmic echo chambers. AI quietly curates our content feeds, subtly and relentlessly shaping our worldview, what we buy, and even how we behave politically, all without us even realizing it's happening.
These modern manipulation tactics are no joke. Data shows that 64% of social media users feel heavily influenced by lifestyle content alone. But the most striking parallel for me is how cancel culture acts as a form of digital exile. Today, going against the grain isn't necessarily punished by physical torture, it's punished by algorithmic suppression, demonetization, and digital exile. This perfectly mirrors the novel's misfit character, Bernard Marx. He isn't executed for questioning the state, he's just banished to an island where no one can hear his voice anymore.
And the sheer scale of this tech shift is staggering, 85 million. That is the massive number of jobs the World Economic Forum estimates AI will displace by 2030. This completely reinforces a system where we humans are increasingly forced to fit into a rigid AI-driven framework rather than being empowered to challenge it. It's all about prioritizing efficiency over human autonomy.
Moving on to Section 5, the irony of censorship, erasing the unpleasant.
This brings us to a deeply fascinating paradox about how society has handled this novel in the real world. Brave New World is actually one of the most frequently challenged and banned books globally. It gets banned for showing sex and drugs, for atheistic themes, and for racist depictions. But the irony here is just overwhelming. By banning the book for its controversial elements, schools and governments are literally enacting the exact type of censorship Huxley was trying to warn us about.
Most historical facts are unpleasant. That's a quote from Mustafa Mond, a world controller in the book. He uses this logic to justify banning beautiful old things like the plays of William Shakespeare simply because they stimulate free thought, human passion, and they show the messy reality of the past. The state just wants a clean, sanitized, perfectly happy present.
The parallel here is undeniable. By censoring the book in the real world to protect our modern sensibilities and shield people from offensive ideas, we are directly mirroring the world state. We're actively engaging in the erasure of anything that doesn't neatly fit into a cleanly predetermined worldview.
Finally, Section 6. Are we amusing ourselves? Consent over oppression.
As we wrap up this explainer, we really have to stop and evaluate the ultimate cost of all these modern conveniences. Are we literally enjoying ourselves into oblivion? The true, lasting horror of Aldous Huxley's Dystopia isn't a boot stamping on a human face. It's that the whole system thrives entirely on our consent. It leaves us to wonder if, right now, through our screens, our algorithms, and our endless pursuit of convenience, we are willingly trading away our freedom and critical thinking for a life of artificial ease. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it leaves you looking at your newsfeed just a little bit differently today.